I learned to not put my arm on the desk because that shakes the camera. So this video is about transparency, which is the act of switching parents. Transparency, so like getting adopted. God, no wonder I'm adopted. So we as human beings have a limited amount of space and energy in our minds. And in order to not run out of those things, it helps to simplify. In my experience, honesty and transparency are very fundamental forms of that simplicity. Letting go of distractions and unnecessary worries. Basically, the fewer layers of exaggeration or persona or facades that you have to upkeep, the better. Even if some of these things start to become second nature, the real you is still in there. Another form of that honesty is just communication with your family and friends, open and honest. Sharing truth and experience with people is an important element of health and trust and sense of community. When you don't have this, that can start to breed resentment and regret, which are just two of the most corrosive feelings, and they sap your happiness really quickly. At the end of your life, what's really going to matter is if you were true to yourself and if you did the things that made you happy and not just the things that you thought made other people happy. So in that way, you know, it's important to look out for your future self. Being transparent in all things isn't an easy thing. It takes practice. So for example, like if you're in a conversation, just admitting a weakness or like poking fun at yourself. Or in a tense situation, telling the other person your true thoughts and feelings on whatever's happening. One thing that's helped me is I've started journaling. Kind of helps me to just be honest with myself about how my day is going and how my life is going. In my YouTube subscriptions, for example, there's a few good examples of people who are very honest and transparent about whatever it is, whatever their craft is or their job. They have videos where they talk about what their process is and how exactly they've gotten to where they are. One is a world famous rock climber named Ondra, who in the videos about him climbing new routes will show the steps along the way, and like he'll show himself falling off the wall like multiple times before he completes the route. There's a photographer named Willem Verbeeck, I'm not sure, where he'll, in his videos where he goes around and shoots photography, he'll show the few seconds leading up to when he actually takes the shot, which I think is really cool. It kind of gives this honest look into the moments right before you get like the final perfect looking picture. He also has videos about how he uses like Adobe Lightroom to edit his photos, because there's a lot of editing that goes into photography sometimes, and a lot of times that's part of the process that a photographer will try to hide, but he's very open and he talks about his how he gets his stylized look to a lot of his photos. He explains the choices behind why he makes the changes to the color and the light that he does. Another photographer, Sean Tucker, has a really great video about how he used self-portraits as a healing process to kind of like come to terms with his authentic self. And I've talked about this a little bit before when in my video about my own YouTube subscriptions, where there's channels like Matt Diavella and Heal Your Living, channels that in all of their videos, there's an element of them being open and transparent about their lives. And these examples are very inspiring, and it's one thing that's helped me to try to go the road of being more transparent in these videos, because I think it's just more relatable that way. And I'll put the links to those channels I mentioned below. So there's a lot that I've learned in making videos, one being adding music really helps. So the YouTube free music library in the YouTube studio has been what I've been using. There's a lot of services, like one is called MusicBed, where you can pay a monthly amount, I think, and there's just a bunch of music that you can access and put in your videos that artists make for that purpose. I have figured out kind of how to make my videos louder because my voice was too quiet in the first few that I made, which a lot of this is just tools in Adobe Premiere Pro that I hadn't known about yet. And it's kind of, as I've gone along this process, I've Googled, you know, how do I do this in Adobe Premiere Pro. What tool am I looking for? And there's a lot of stuff that I still need to figure out. Like I should probably look into getting better lighting, or even getting just a better camera to use for these videos. There's definitely a balance I need to kind of work towards more, as far as the time where you're just looking at my face, and if you're looking at pictures or other videos in the video, so that, you know, it's kind of more engaging and less boring. It's more digestible, I think, just in my experience, if there's kind of a variety of visual stuff going on. And just to kind of zoom out a bit, I've been looking for a job recently. I quit my job that I was working up in Blue Ash. I just wasn't really happy there. I look forward to Fridays like an unhealthy amount. But during this time off, I've gotten into photography a lot. I've been biking around Cincinnati, which has been great. And there's a few other skills that I've been building, and kind of online courses that I've been taking, just to kind of increase my skill set while I have the time to. And I've had some interviews that haven't resulted in getting a job, which, you know, failure is gonna happen, and in that way it's kind of a good thing. You know, it's everyone's gonna fail, so the more that happens, the more you learn. Hopefully, as time goes on and, you know, the world becomes more interactive, people are more comfortable with being transparent and kind of exercising that in their daily lives. Because I think good, authentic relationships is kind of what makes life worth it. One is a world flame. It's so hot in here. I think all the cicadas are finally dying or going underground. I don't care. I don't care what happens to them. I mean, the rest of the world, you know, we all had to deal with all the shutdown stuff last summer, and now the rest of the world gets to enjoy that, and Cincinnati gets the cicadas. So it's just like, why?